Hello, people. Welcome back to another episode of the Tech of Tomorrow podcast, where we believe that the real technology of the future are the humans building the technology and building the future. My guest today, actually, before we get to the guest, remember, usual housekeeping note, follow the channel if you're on YouTube. It's fairly new, needs more followers. Support the show with a like. Also, on Spotify, Apple, and Amazon, support the show by following the podcast on all platforms and leave a comment if you want so that I can keep bringing you cool guests like the one we have today. Which leads me, this time for real, to the guest. Our guest today is a retired dairy farmer based in Australia. So we got quite some time difference here. And I thank him for being here so early at his time. He is a part time veterinary and he is the co founder and chairman at Knowby, a smart new instruction sharing tool that takes the complexity of instructions and makes it simple. Grant Rogers is his name, and I would like to thank him for being here. Hello, Grant. How are you doing?
Good, Sebastian. How are you? It's not too early, but it is breakfast time, so coffee's in hand.
Great. Good to see you. What time is it in Australia?
It's 6 o'clock in the morning.
6 o'clock
Yeah,
in the morning. This is commitment.
I'm normally up at this time of day anyway, so it's no problem.
Are you an early riser?
Well, yeah, after 20 years milking cows, yeah, I'm an early riser. Don't quite get out of bed as early as I used to, but yeah, mornings the best part of the day.
Tell me, you have a fascinating background. You started, I don't know if you started as a dairy farmer and now you are in business. How did that come through? How did you get started in your career?
Um, well, I was born and raised on a farm in New Zealand, and I was encouraged not to go farming, so I went and became a veterinarian. Um, but then I ended up farming because it was always what I wanted to do. I was in practice for a number of years before I went farming. Um, my wife and I moved to Tasmania, Australia, to buy a dairy farm, and look, it was what I always wanted to do was farm. So we did that for nearly 20 years. Um, and during that time, as you do in most occupations, you learn lots of things, but dealing with people, as everyone knows, is the most difficult thing. And one of the most frustrating things in businesses. Um, And so, I guess that's where Knowby originated. But at the same time, well, I got back into practicing as a vet. I knew my body wasn't going to last forever. So, and realized fairly quickly that communication with customers and clients is, equally challenging sometimes. So yeah, that's sort of where I ended up, and Nobi sort of grew out of personal frustrations. Um, but it ended up that my problems weren't actually special to me, and there's actually a need globally for our solution.
So, of the many frustrations that led you to starting Nobi, which one was the most powerful one?
I think there was a couple. Um, Turned out I was, pretty average at communicating how to do stuff. I thought I was good at it, but what I say and what you hear are two totally different things sometimes. And just frustration with staff, asking you the same thing over and over again. And I guess part of that's, I guess it's laziness to a degree. Reliance on, if people rely on you to provide the answer, it's easy to get that answer. It's probably easy to just go back to the source every time rather than learn how to do it, etc. So a couple of examples. Something breaks down in the cow shed. It's 5 o'clock in the morning. It's my day off, and someone rings you, or you're in town and something's broken, or someone doesn't know how to do something, and they ring you. And I guess that's probably where it was born. But the reality was I was also pretty poor at communicating how to do things. So I guess that's where it was originally born.
So how long ago did you start the company?
Um, I'd say 5 years, might be six. Yeah, like all startups, it's the, there's no overnight successes. So it's been going a while. Got into a startup program right at the beginning. Um, Learned at the same time that my problems weren't special, and this actually wasn't a farming problem. It was a not even a business problem. It was a people problem. You know, like how many times have you been to an Airbnb and not knowing how to use a dishwasher or the washing machine or turn the TV on? You know, it's not just a business problem.
It's a very common problem, not needing to know how to do things and not having access to the knowledge. So
Yep.
how do you do this at Knowby?
Um, so interestingly, I obviously was frustrated in my business or in one of my businesses. And so I thought I'll write a manual. Luckily, I never started. Um, I realized very quickly that the manual would never be where people needed it. And like whoever opens a manual anyway, um, they're long-winded and and boring generally. And that's if you can find the language that you want it in, although mine was only going to be written in one language. I played around with video. Everyone uses YouTube to show people how to do stuff. And I showed it to a few neighbors, and they said, "Yeah, that's great, but I don't want to watch a 5 minute video. I only want to know how to do one thing." And I guess I'm not sure where, but we came up with this concept of step-by-step instructions. So you could swipe past the bits that you do know, and you didn't have to rewind. Like, how many times have you watched a YouTube video and you fall asleep during all the stuff you do know, and then you get to the bit you don't, and you've got to rewind it 3 or 4 times to actually understand it. So we came up with a concept. It's step by step. It's made up of text, still images, and loop video. So if you can skip past the bits and you can just sit there on the screen digesting the bit you don't know until you understand it. Does that make sense?
That makes sense. So
Yeah.
what are your biggest use cases at this moment?
Um, Look, we're in about 30 countries and in about 20 different industries. So look, we haven't really got a strong. If you were to ask me, probably our strongest use case at the moment, it's probably in manufacturing, to be honest. We have a lot of manufacturers that are using Knowby. They've got QR codes all around their factories, so staff can be upskilled, onboarded very, very quickly. But they're also using it customer facing. So, um, got a number of businesses that ship stuff to end customers for installation. And so, they have a QR code with installation instructions on it. So I guess, look, it's being used in that many areas, and some of them I don't even know how many, I don't even know where it's being used completely now. But manufacturing has been a really good use case for us. There's obviously a lot of farmers using it as well. Um, yeah, that's that. The manufacturing one I think is a really good example because it shows a use case of both internal use for supporting staff and for external use for supporting customers. Because people just want to know how to do stuff. They just want to be able to do it. Simple as that.
True. People want the result immediately. They don't care necessarily
Yep.
about the process.
We live in an immediate society, and if we don't get the answer right now, it's frustrating.
You mentioned that the manufacturing companies that you serve are using the QR codes in factories to upscale onboarding.
Yeah.
Do you have data on how quicker onboarding gets once a company manufacturing starts using Knowby?
we haven't got data, but we've got plenty of testimonials. Like we've got business owners that just rave about it. The fact that I could, not that I'm a manufacturer, but the fact that I could bring you into my business, I could show you how to do a process once, leave you with a QR code. Assuming it's not a dangerous process that I need to actually be with you and make sure you're safe, etc. But and then I could leave you with a QR code that you can refer back to after lunch, tomorrow morning when you get back to work. Maybe the first 3 or 4 days, and then you're an expert. I think that's the feedback that we're getting. That just the power of, like, if I told you how to do something, took you through a process. Imagine if you didn't know how to make a cup of coffee, and I talked you through the process of doing it, and I left the room. You might remember two parts of it. You might remember three, but you wouldn't be able to do the whole thing. So I think that's the power of it. Like, to be honest, it's not just for stuff. I use Knowby myself. There's things I do on computer programs that I might do once every 6 months or once a year. I can't remember how to do them. I've got no idea how to do them. So I've built lots of really basic, stupid Knowbys on how to do things on computer programs that I might do once a year.
So basically, Knowby can be a platform both B2B and B2C.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And the whole point of it is simplicity. You build them like you post on social media, although that's about to change. We're about to release some pretty clever technology that will speed that up. But yeah, you build them like you post something on social media, and you digest it. You digest it like you're going through, I don't know, Instagram.
What would you say is Knowby has been around for 6 years now. So what would you say was the biggest challenge when you started it, and what would you say is the biggest challenge now that it's been going for a good a good amount of time?
Um, Lots of challenges, like all startups. The biggest challenge initially was I had no idea what I was doing. Like a lot of founders, I had a good idea. Um, yeah, and building a team, like getting the right team of people around you. That's, there's lots of good ideas out there. It's execution that makes or breaks an idea. And I would suggest that probably 99% of that execution is the team. And the other biggest challenge we had, and you're in the startup world, you continually get hammered. Be narrow, be narrow, be narrow. Know your customer. Trouble is, whatever you do not say my customer is the whole world. But unfortunately for us, our customer was the whole world. So it was really hard to be narrow and focus, on the customer. And it was hard to find who the customer was. And to be honest, it still is. But we've got enough customers and enough different segments now that that problem's not not the tangible one it was. And the team problem is definitely not a problem now. We've got an incredible group of people with diverse skill sets and diverse backgrounds.
So at the beginning, right, when you went against the advice, which by the way I give very often, to just be narrow and don't go too broad,
Yep.
how did you go about pitching it and showing the value the product had to people who had never seen it before and that hadn't seen maybe social proof of the product being used in their industry? Because this is a question that might be useful for a founder listening to this.
Yeah, sure, sure. Look, what we tried to do was sort of be broad but be narrow. So we would build use cases within certain industries. And if I was talking to a manufacturer, I would build an example that would relate to them. We had to have examples that related to someone, so that they, look, some people get stuff instantly. Some people are very good at seeing things out of context. Um, but you've generally got to be pretty blunt. So, if you're a manufacturer, and I've got an example of a Knowby in manufacturing, it will resonate. You try and look, people, when people come on board, they always ask, where do we start? And I say, right, brainstorm your biggest frustrations, whether it's with staff or with customers, you know. And so if we could generate a Knowby on a guesstimate of what a potential customer's problem was or problem area was, it made it much easier to start that conversation.
That's a great answer. Thank you for that. How did
But
you
it
go?
wasn't easy. But it wasn't easy. Trust me.
I bet. I bet because I never consult startups, but I have done free mentorship for a lot of founders, and especially in the past month. What I've noticed is how these founders really struggle when it comes to building use cases, when it comes to finding use cases, when it comes to making customers across different industries understand their value. It's really the biggest challenge for any founder, which in the end comes down to product market fit, which in your case you found in different industries.
Yeah. And the product market fit was really around what their problem was. You know, like if you can find a problem, any problem, and it's causing financial or mental stress, and you can solve that and you can communicate that, you're on a winner, aren't you?
Yes, agree.
Mm.
That is a form of product market fit, solving a problem. And
Yep.
something that I tell often to my clients, especially when they're in different industries than the ones I usually serve, is that the kind of stuff I solve is a problem that happens across every industry. The principles stay the same. What you change is the
Yes.
details to find a solution.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. And the problem we solved was communicating how to do something easily and quickly.
So can Knowby be used for any kind of communication, let's say employee trainings, for example, of any kind?
Yep. 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 So we're literally a platform that you build anything you want on. So it can be safety procedures. You can actually ask people to sign off to agree that they've been trained on it, and that's all tracked. Um, yeah, it can be used for training. It can be used for upskilling. It can be used for, customer support. Um, like I, one of the light bulb moments happened to me when I was on the farm, and I'd had a computer control panel breakdown. The power went off. Sorry, that's what happened. The power went off, and the battery was flat, and so the whole thing needed reprogrammed. And I spent about an hour on the phone to a technician who talked me through how to fix it. And I got off the phone. Well, before I got off the phone, I thought, man, if he could have just sent me a Knowby on how to do this, it would have taken up like literally 3 minutes of his time. And and neither of us would have been frustrated. So yeah, look, it's communication. It's the biggest problem in life, isn't it?
Agree. Something I'm putting together for next year is negotiation training offer, which in the end comes down to communication. And I like your light bulb moment because basically, yes, you did have the attention of a customer service representative, but it was frustrating because it took an hour of your time. Whereas, at least in my case, if I call somebody that is a customer service representative and they send me a link to something that solves my problem in 5 minutes, I still feel taken care of as a customer. And I'm very
Yes.
happy because I didn't have to spend 1 hour on the phone with anybody.
Yep. Yep.
Fascinating. Love it.
And the
Um,
and the, and the other thing around this is this guy that I was talking to, he was probably on another farm doing a job. Who was paying for that? Who was paying for the time? And I saw this numerous times, and this isn't specific to farming, but you've got a plumber or an electrician, and they're on a job and they're being paid by the customer, and they're on the phone talking to someone else. You know,
Robert.
um, yeah, it used to frustrate me. So yeah, you're right. It's a win-win.
So, what is the biggest challenge now that you found product market fit? Is it keeping up with the volume of customers? Is it still showing the value to new people? What do you find it to be the biggest challenge?
Um, Two big challenges. One, visibility. That's always a problem for a startup. Um, Two, even though even though it's really incredibly easy to build on our platform, like it's literally like talking on WhatsApp. You upload your image, you put some text in, and you just keep going. We still find that there's a barrier to people building, which is why we've developed a thing we're about to release called Knowby Studio. And our tech team have built this incredibly powerful bit of AI where we can upload a existing video, or if you're wanting to build a new Knowby, like go back to making the cup of coffee, and you video the whole process and you just talk your way through it, get the cup out of the drawer, put water in the jug, and etc. And you upload this video into our studio, and within 30 seconds, it will spit out a Knowby instruction. Now, it won't be perfect, um, but it's pretty close. I've done lots of them in our trial version, and it's very, very good. That it picks up what it does is it picks up your text, it picks up your voice, it spits the text out, and then it looks for the relevant clip of the video around that. You can go in and edit it. You can zoom in, like if it's a raw video and it's not great, you can zoom in on it. So what what we're trying to do is be able to digest existing videos that businesses have for training, for customer support, um, and on top of that, make it incredibly simple for people to build from scratch. So we're really excited about this. It's a very cool bit of tech.
Yes, I hope this gets over the problem of the barrier and gets people building more because the platforms are super useful. So, what are you doing now in terms of visibility? You said that's a challenge. So, what are the initiatives you're taking that you would recommend maybe other startups take if they want to be more visible?
Um, Look, we're probably doing everything that any other small, smaller budgeted companies doing. We've got, social media presence. We do direct marketing. So, we actually use our existing customers for a lot of, once people start building, they don't stop. Like it's addictive. Like, yes, there's a barrier to getting people started sometimes, not always. But once they start, they don't stop. And we wouldn't have a customer that doesn't absolutely love what we've got. So there's a lot of referrals. We've got some people spread around the globe that are working with us. Um, yeah, we've developed an affiliate program where that's quite helpful. Yeah, so look, a number of initiatives. You've got to be smart sometimes. Coming on podcasts, coming on Sebastian's podcast. Just getting visible as much as you can.
Always a good solution. So, what is the vision for the company in 5 years? Where do you want to take it?
Look, for myself, and fortunately, look, we've got a really good team of just genuinely good people. And look, this will be incredibly successful financially, but that has never been the driving force behind Knowby for me. For me, look, I just want to make it work. I want to see it successful. I want to solve people's problems. But the other thing that is very important to everyone on the team is actually to use it for good. So we make it available free to non-for-profits. Um, when I say non-for-profits, definitely vet them. There are a lot of non-for-profits out there that are commercial businesses, in my opinion. Um, but yeah, we've made it free to a number of non-for-profits. We're talking to someone that's well, they're going to start using it for providing eye care in Africa. You know, just if someone's got a good project out there that's doing good for people, yeah, like that's really important to everyone on our team. Very important.
I like this purpose part because it's something I haven't heard as of right now of all the people I've interviewed on the show. I have never heard of somebody that's giving the product away for free to non-profits. So I commend you for that and keep doing it. But what is the best part for you of that? Just is it seeing the impact? Is it seeing the feedback from
Yeah,
those people?
it's just like it's just yeah, it's seeing the impact it has on them. Yeah, like there's a non-for-profit in Australia that works with migrants, and I've just started working with them. And so the language barrier, like how to get on the bus. So we auto translate into 130 languages. All right. So for a migrant who doesn't know how to get on a bus, how to open a bank account, how to deal with government bureaucracy. Like, this is so cool. This is a game changer for people in that situation, and that makes me feel good.
As somebody who hates bureaucracy, I completely see how this can be a game changer for public institutions to just put their knowledge base and make it available in a way that for citizens or for just even business owners, which, as you probably
Yeah.
know, in Europe, bureaucracy and business owners, we got a massive issue. It would just make everything so easy to have clear instructions of what to do instead of having to bounce from 5 pages of the same website or through 5 pages of several different websites.
Yep. I agree. And like you mentioned, so I've had a couple of meetings with these guys, and we were talking about putting QR codes in bus shelters around the city. So a migrant can scan it. Where do I get, how do I get a card to get on the bus? Things like that. And I guess, and actually, so another light bulb moment for me was in this discussions, is it came really clear that if when they roll this out, nobody's going to be put in front of all these government businesses and all these other institutions, and they're going to see it, and they're going to, you talk about getting visibility. What a great way to get visibility.
Yes, and also when it comes to institutions and governments, I don't think I've met a single person who had a great customer experience with them or any sort of viable customer journey. It's always complaints. I got so many forms to sign. I don't know how to do this. I need to Google this, make 5 phone calls, and then maybe you figure it out, hopefully.
Yep, yep. And that's only with one person. The next person will say you've done it wrong.
Yes.
Yeah.
You mentioned several times your team. And one of the
Yes.
biggest challenges that not just startups have, just any company of any size, is finding the right team members. So, what is your advice when it comes to going about building the right team, making the right hires?
Um, wow. Had some really bad experiences here. And had some incredibly good experiences here. General advice. They've got to be on your wavelength. You know, um, if something's important to you, it's got to be important to them. Um, I had our original team no longer exists. Um, and we just weren't on the same page. And that's not necessarily just around business. Uh it's around morals, it's just around who you are, I guess. That's probably Whereas the team we've got now, we're all on the same page. You know, we all give a shit about people. We all like having a laugh. You know, yeah, it's fun. It's a fun group to be in. But we also all want to make the business work. So I think you've just got to have you've got to be aligned.
Does that
But
alignment happen in the hiring phase, or does that happen inorganically? Do you workshop your team? Do you have all hands meetings? How do you achieve that alignment?
yeah, look, we've had some hires that we thought fitted and we've let go because they didn't fit. Um, I guess I'm trying to think how the team was originally put together. Yeah, look, I guess okay. So originally, when things really changed for Knowby was I got involved during COVID with a second startup program. It was all online. They bring in these outside mentors, and this one guy, I met him on the first day of this program, and we just clicked. And he started ringing me, and we became friends. And at the end of the program, him and he organised a heap of things for me during it, outside of the program to talk to different people. And at the end of the program, he made me an offer to join the company, and he knew other people that he brought in. I knew some I knew some of the original customers that were really keen, and we just I guess originally was brought together just through gut feel from people we knew, and then hiring. Well, I don't do the hiring, so our CEOs and is in charge of that. And look, I guess the interview process, you get a feel of it's not necessarily about skill, it's about the person really. Yeah. And we've got it wrong, a couple of times. Yeah. Does that help? It's probably not a great answer. Sorry.
That helps. It's been an answer I made to somebody else on the show, and we came to the conclusion that skills can be taught. You cannot
Yes,
teach character. There's no way you
you've got
teach character.
Knowby.
If somebody
You've got
doesn't
you've
fit,
got Knowby. You can teach the skill with Knowby.
yes, that's true.
But you're right. You're 100% right. Skills can be taught. Attitude can't.
Yes, I liked it. I like it. Skills can be taught, attitude can. Might be the title of this podcast episode. Who knows? Um,
Maybe.
Question for you. You're a part-time veterinary. How does one run a business and also be a part-time veterinary? What does a day in the life in your life look like?
Crazy. Um, but I think most founders of startups are a little bit crazy. You have to be, to keep going, because there's good times and there's a lot of not so good times. Um, I'm fortunate that I've got a really good team now. Um, I only work as a vet in the dairy industry. So, unlike most of the world, we only calve at one time of the year. So I have a period of the year where I'm quite busy as a vet, and Knowby sort of takes a second place during that period. And then the rest of the year, and the majority of the year, I'm not very busy as a vet. So the rest of the year, Knowby takes priority. So I've actually just flipped from one to the other. My vet world, which I love, it's my passion. His my busy period's finished, and the minute it finished, I got on a plane to New Zealand on a sales trip. And I'm been yeah, I'm hard back on Knowby now. But we're lucky we've got a team of people that I don't have to do the day-to-day stuff with Knowby anymore. I said to the guys, look, you don't need me to do day-to-day stuff. I'm going to focus on the area that I understand inside out, which is agriculture. And I'm going to work on driving Knowby into the agricultural industry. There's other guys that are working in many other sectors, but so yeah, I'm lucky I've got a team. That's what, but it is a little bit crazy.
What do you love the most about your veterinary work?
Um, Satisfied customers, I guess. Yeah, satisfied people. I guess there's a bit of a theme there, isn't there?
Yes, there
Yeah,
is a theme
yeah,
for sure. Do you
yeah,
implement
yeah.
Knowby in your vet work?
Oh, hell yes. Every day, every day. So I've got a library of hundreds of instructions. So I will, if I have a conversation on the phone and someone wants to know how to do something, I'll send them a link. I provide, just like the factory, I provide sheets with QR codes to go in their dairy sheds on how to do different things. I use it for my compliance. I send out instructions on, for programs that I need done, and there's just about always a link on. I use them in my newsletters. I use them every day, and my clients love them.
Have you implemented it also to other vets? Are
I've
you
got
spreading it in the field?
I've got a few vets that are using it. Um, some of it in quite bizarre ways. But no, I've got a few vets that are using it. Yeah, they definitely see the value of it.
Great. Listen, Grant, as we approach the closing on the show, I would like to ask you if there is somebody listening right now to this episode that is wondering whether they should reach out, whether they need Knowby or not for the processes and knowledge in their company, what would you tell them?
Oh, look, they never look back. But I guess it comes back to your one of your original questions about use case. You know, what frustrations have you got in your business? And look, it may be not necessarily frustration. Like, what does customer support cost you currently? You know, how many brochures a year do you print and throw out? Like that's the great thing with Knowby is you can update it in the blink of a second and it's updated globally for everyone, and it costs you nothing to do that. So it may be use case around frustration with onboarding people. It may be a frustration with I've got no health and safety system, and if something happens, I'm screwed. It may be that my customer support is costing me, a fortune. And we could save you hundreds of thousands of dollars. Um, like literally, if someone opens, if you use Knowby publicly, and I send you a link and you open it, or you get some packaging, it literally costs the business 2 cents. It's all it costs. And you don't throw anything out. So it could be just purely around economics. There's so many different use cases. I guess it really comes back to what what issues you're having in your business. Does that make sense?
That makes
It's
total sense. Also, you told me your CEO is in Germany, and you mentioned the
yes,
fact of saving in printing brochures, which if you probably are aware because of your CEO, but Germans not only struggle to digitalize anything, but the use of paper in this country is ungodly. I would totally see this as a market where you can really honestly make bank and also benefit a lot of companies that just keep printing paper that they throw away.
yeah, that they throw away, and also something changes and they have to reprint them all.
Yes,
It's a bit
sometimes
like
even small changes.
it's a bit like people that use video for customers, for product support or whatever. if something changes with the product, they've got to reshoot the entire video. And if you're paying a professional to do that, it costs a fortune. Whereas with Knowby, you can just go in and change the steps, put a new step in, put a new image in. So yeah, there's definitely massive potential in customer support to save a lot of money, actual money. Whereas in the staffing side of it, no one asks you to write out a check because it's slower to onboard someone, but there's a hidden cost to it.
There are a lot of things in business that can come with hidden costs, from inefficiencies in making decisions to just wrong
Yes.
processes. Sometimes, companies don't see the cost until they fix the little thing and suddenly they are 20% more profitable. Magic.
Yeah.
Listen, do you have a piece of advice for startup founders that are in their first 3 years, that are probably the most difficult? You're well past that. So, what would you recommend to the younger
Um,
version of you that was at that stage?
you've got to validate that your idea fixes a problem. That it fixes a real problem. You might have a great idea and it looks fantastic, but if it doesn't fix a problem for someone, um, there was a book I read, I can't remember the title of it, right at the beginning, and it was about, iterations and does it solve a problem? So you've got to get out there and you've actually you just because you think it's a good idea doesn't doesn't mean anything. That would be my first bit of advice. And the second bit is take your time building your team.
I
You
love
know,
that. It's advice I've given recently to founders when coaching them, meaning innovation is ultimately useless if it's not solving a problem. You can
yep.
put a honk on an airplane, probably cute,
Yes.
very original. Nobody needs
Yep.
it. There's no traffic jams over there.
No, no, exactly. And it's not just necessarily solving a problem. That problem's actually got to be, it's got to be economically worth solving as well.
I like that. I like that a lot. Listen, Grant, thank you for being on the show. Before you go, I want to ask you, where can people find out more about you, about Knowby? When can they reach? Where can they reach out to you if they want to try, if they want to know about pricing or whatever they need to ask?
Sure. Look, if you go to our website, which is just knowby.co, there's heaps of information there. There's heaps of use cases. You can sign up for a free 30-day trial, no credit card needed. Hate those things when they ask for your credit card up front. Um, and look, you can find me on LinkedIn. I'm reasonably active on there. If you're into dairy cows and vet stuff, you'll see lots of posts that I make. But I always probably try and tie it back to Knowby, or I use Knowby in them actually, to be honest. I'll put links on there. So look, I'm more than happy to start a conversation. And like I said, Clint's in Germany. He'll be awake when you're awake. Um, yeah, but
Cool.
yeah, the website's really good. It's forever changing. Love your feedback on it, Sebastian. If you want to hop on and give us some feedback, that'd be appreciated. You know, another set of eyes is always good.
Yes, I will absolutely do that. Would love that because I like how you presented the product. I would be happy to provide feedback. And listen, Grant, I think it's probably worth also having Clint on since we are in the same country and we can tackle the topic from another angle too. So we have the full Nobi team in two separate episodes. That
Yeah,
said,
no, that'd be good because he'll give you a less of an animal approach.
I that's it. Listen, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate your time. I really appreciate getting to know more about Nobi. I have a full page with notes about it. Thank you.
Excellent. No, no problem at all. It's been a pleasure. When I saw your message, I thought, well, why not? It's always good to meet different people, and yeah, cool.
I always love when people are willing to jump on the podcast real quick without too many questions because in the end, it's just a fun time. It's just a conversation. And that's what we're here for. People, this was the Tech of Tomorrow podcast with Sebastian Hidalgo. I am Sebastian Hidalgo today with Grant Rogers from Knowby. Great company. Check their website, follow him on LinkedIn. So maybe you will also see some content that's not just people congratulating themselves, which is the part of LinkedIn I hate the most, even though I'm there every day. That's it. Remember, follow the show, like on YouTube, leave a comment, support us on Spotify, Amazon, Apple, on every platform that this show is on, so that I can keep bringing you quality guests like the one we had on today. See you in the next episode.